there friends, it's Melanie, and I wanted to share something a little bit on the serious side with you today. If you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you might remember hearing me say in different types of videos that for the past 14 or 15 years I have struggled with anxiety, actually having anxiety attacks, and just trying to cope on certain days when my anxiety level gets really high. And I did have a day like that yesterday, and I just really felt it on my heart that I wanted to share this with you guys. So I sat down and I wrote down a couple of ideas, and I just want to share. So if you're interested in hearing my top 7 ways to deal with anxiety or even depression, then stay tuned. Okay guys, so just a tiny little backstory, not a whole lot. The women in my family have always struggled with anxiety and depression, and so it's not really something that was a big shock to me when I started to experience that as well. But I was about 21 or 22 when it became a problem, and at the time I went to my doctor and I got prescribed medication, and I didn't even really know that that's what was going on. I just went to my doctor. I was in college at the time, and I said I had honestly been going through just some really hard times personally, and I went to him and I said, I can't eat, I can't sleep, I just feel like I can't really function, and I need something to help me. And he prescribed medicine for me, and at the time I didn't understand that it was for anxiety and depression. I didn't really know what he was prescribing for me, but he was my doctor that I trusted, and so I started taking the medicine, and it helped me out tremendously. It helped to balance out my my hormones quite a bit. And so later down the road, I talked to my mom about it, and I'm like, yeah, I've been taking this medicine for for a while, and she said, I'm on the exact same medicine, Ellie. And we talked about it, and she explained to me, yeah, that's for anxiety and depression. And it was really hard for me to kind of go, whoa, wait a second. No, I'm not crazy. I don't need crazy people medicine. But it took me quite a while to understand that having a chemical imbalance or a hormonal imbalance does not make me crazy. It's just who I am genetically. And so on and off for probably a good 5 or 6 years, I took this medicine. I would take it for a while, and then I would want to get off of it, and so I would stop taking it, and then I would have another rough patch in my life, and I would get back on the medicine, and so forth and so on. Well, I have not been on medicine for probably 8 years. I would say easily 8 years I have not been on any form of medication. But that doesn't mean that the stress in my life is gone, right? Like, I have 4 kids, and I'm a homeschooling mom, and I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I'm married, and I'm like everyone else. I have stress, and I have struggles, and I have anxiety, and I've had to come up with things that could help me cope with those types of days, and I just kind of assume that everyone else is just like me, and we all have hard days, and so I wanted to share some tips with you guys on how I get through the days that are really hard. And if I look really strange right now, it's because I'm petting my dog, because I mean, what? She's dirty. What? She's my sweet girl. Okay, don't lick me, I don't like that. Okay. So, tip number 1 that I have for you is get dressed. Get ready for the day. Even if you're not planning on leaving your house, change out of your pajamas, put on something that makes you, I'm not saying you have to get dressed to the nines. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying get dressed, put on some clothes, do something with your hair. Put on a little bit of makeup, put on some mascara and some lip gloss if that's what makes you feel pretty, and I promise you it is going to help lift your spirits. Because quite frankly, even on days when I'm not struggling with anxiety, when I look like a hot mess, I don't want to see myself in the mirror. I walk past a mirror and I'm like, ugh. I feel gross, I feel lazy, I don't feel good about myself. So I try to make a point every single day to get dressed. I try not to stay in my pajamas. Now that doesn't mean that I'm above wearing tights and a flowy shirt. If it's real clothes and it's not pajamas, that still counts as clothes. But wear something comfortable, wear something that makes you look nice. Take the time to, or that makes you feel like you look nice. Take the time to put on a little bit of makeup, even if it's not much, and just realize, or like consider how much that might elevate your mood. I promise you, it really helps for me. So that is gonna be tip number 1. Okay, tip number 2 is eat something healthy. It doesn't have to be like bean sprouts and tofu. That's not what I'm saying to you at all. All I'm saying is, when I find myself struggling with anxiety or depression, I want to eat nothing but junk food. And if I allow myself to get hungry, I will eat junk food. I tend to eat my feelings when I am feeling really stressed out. I tend to eat things that I shouldn't eat. And so I try to make a point when I know that I'm feeling down to eat something healthy, because I tend to forget that food is fuel, and that's really all that it is. I tend to look at food and think that it's a way for me to escape whatever problems I'm going through in my life, and that's not a healthy way to look at food. So tip number 2 would be to eat something healthy. Okay, so tip number 3 is going to be write a list to clear your mind. Write a list of things, even if it's only 2 or 3 things that you would like to accomplish, and just like put it on a piece of paper. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I'm struggling with my anxiety, I can't seem to focus. I can't get my mind clear enough to really focus on being productive. And so if I will just take the time to say, okay, today I want to do 1 load of laundry, I want to make my bed, I want to write a grocery list. Think small, but just write a short list of things for you to do, because the process of being able to check those things off once you've done them is going to lift your spirits. It's going to help you to feel more productive, and therefore you're going to feel less anxious or depressed. So that would be tip number 3, is to make a to-do list, but keep it simple. Okay, tip number 4. Work on small tasks or make some progress on a project that you've been wanting to do. For me, I have no idea why, but sweeping my floor and washing dishes are very therapeutic for me. I don't understand, I don't love to do them. I still look at them as a chore and not something that I enjoy, but for whatever reason, they're very therapeutic. So when I'm feeling anxious or down, doing small things like this helps me. I really have no idea why, because I'm not a psychologist. I just know that it helps me. So find something small that you can do, something that doesn't require a whole lot of thought, because, you know, if you're like me, I don't think clearly. I already said that. I don't think clearly, but I still need to keep myself moving. I still need to keep my mind occupied. Otherwise, I'm a worrier by nature, and I can start to obsess over things, and that just increases my anxiety. So if I can work on small things, it kind of helps me to process through. Plus, when I'm doing mundane tasks like sweeping the floor, washing the dishes, folding the towels, you know, whatever, sometimes it allows me to work through some of the thoughts that I have in my mind, and I can get to the bottom of what I'm feeling anxious about. Now, that does not always happen, but sometimes it can happen. But I definitely find that on days when my anxiety is really high, if I will just focus on accomplishing a few small tasks, it really helps me out a lot. Okay, tip number 5 is going to be probably not my favorite tip, but it is true. When you are struggling with anxiety, you should try to not overconsume caffeine, because caffeine is a stimulant, and therefore it can tend to make your anxiety worse. I love coffee. I drink 2 cups of coffee every day, but if I know that I'm struggling with anxiety on a given day, I will probably just cut that down to maybe 1 cup, and then I will switch to an herbal tea. Herbal teas are very relaxing. They're not stimulant based, and so they can help you to relax and maybe clear your mind, versus caffeine, coffee, sodas, anything of that nature is just going to rev you up even more, and that does not help your anxiety at all. So that's one thing that not a lot of people know about. I know some people know this, but not everyone knows that caffeine can actually make your anxiety worse. So if you find that you are struggling with anxiety, try to avoid caffeine. If you're someone who doesn't drink a lot of caffeine anyway, maybe you can just go a day without it. If you're someone who drinks multiple cups of coffee a day, maybe cut down on your coffee consumption that day, and it will help you out. It will help to calm your nerves a little bit, which is kind of odd because I drink coffee in order to calm my nerves on a normal day. Okay guys, and the last tip I want to share with you, I mean, I would be remiss if I didn't share this with you because, in my opinion, it might be the most important one of all. And that is, if you are a spiritual person, to pray. Not necessarily to sit and have hours upon hours of prayer, but just pray that God will help you to have a clear mind, to not become overwhelmed, because when I'm anxious, I get very easily overwhelmed. If you're not a spiritual person, then just maybe you meditate, maybe you just sit quietly and reflect. Maybe you like to read a good book. If you're not a spiritual person, you don't obviously have to pray. But I find that if I can get just 5 minutes by myself in a quiet space to sit and just close my eyes and take deep breaths, it helps with my anxiety. So like I said, I wouldn't be doing you guys any justice if I didn't include this as one of my tips, because it's definitely the first one that I turn to whenever I'm feeling anxious, and hopefully you guys will also be able to use this tip as well. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope that some of these tips have been helpful to you. I truly believe that the majority of people either struggle with anxiety on a regular basis, or they struggle with it more than maybe they let on. I just think that in the world we live in right now, there's so much stress and there's so much busyness, and there's just so much. We're overwhelmed. We're bombarded with life every single day, that if you aren't intentional about how you treat yourself and how you approach your day, it's very easy to get overwhelmed and stressed out and anxious. And I think that we all could maybe use a reminder of some ways to kind of alleviate that stress a little bit. So, like I said, yesterday I had a really high anxiety day, and I'm not even sure why. I don't know. I can't think of anything really that I have going on in my life that was causing me extreme stress, or I don't know. It might just be my hormones, my hormones might just be weird and out of whack right now. But yesterday I was extremely anxious all day long for no reason that I could think of. And so I turned to all of these tips and I used them. And yesterday I was just anxious pretty much all day. But I woke up today and I felt so much more calm and so much more at peace, and so much I just felt more like myself. I really think that taking the time yesterday to be easy on myself and to be gentle with myself and just go slow and not allow myself to be overwhelmed really helped me to wake up today and have a better day. So I hope that you guys are able to find some use in these tips. I thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, as well as all my other videos that you take the time to watch. I know that there are so many wonderful creators on YouTube. I myself have tons that I love to watch. I don't get a lot of time to watch them, but I love watching YouTube. It's just amazing, and I'm so unbelievably humbled that you guys choose to watch my channel. It gives me goosebumps. I seriously have goosebumps right now. I love you all so much. I hope that you are having a wonderfully blessed day, and I'll be back soon with another video for you. You guys take care. Love you.